McCall, Ferguson, good running by McPherson, shooting chance perhaps, no, prefers Stephen wide. Haitley heading it back, and lashed behind there by Colin Cameron. Another corner to Rangers. Stephen with a corner, John Brown is challenging. Gordon Jury! Rangers are ahead! Dejection through the Raith Rovers ranks. The joy for these Rangers fans. It was John Brown who caused the problem from the corner with his aerial power, getting up so well here. And then Jury reacted so swiftly to hook that home. An excellent striker's goal this by Jury on the turn. It's his 9th in Rangers colours in his 14th match. A splendid record for a man who has been accused of being a little bit light in the goal-scoring stakes before. Good play by Stephen. And Mikhailchenko sends it over the bar after a dummy by Jury. Well, that would certainly have settled it. Here's Trevor Stephen. He's done some very good work on the flanks for Rangers. Away from row bottom this time, measuring the pass. Jury may have had a call from Mikhailchenko. This is Jury. No problem with that for Thompson. Goal kick to Raith Rovers, and indeed the final whistle. Rangers winning by the narrowest of margins after as tough a match as they'll want to endure from now until the end of the season. Raith Rovers showing remarkable commitment to the cause. Snatched a lead which was protected superbly by Scott Thompson in particular in goal, but he could do nothing about the equaliser from Ian Ferguson, and the winner then, a fine opportunist goal by Gordon Jury 12 minutes from the end. The heart goes out to Raith Rovers. They'd be a sad loss to the Premier Division, but at time up it's Raith Rovers 1, Rangers 2.
Walter, a hard-fought victory in the end. Were you concerned that it might not end that way?
Well, obviously after losing the first goal you're concerned that we had a lot of chances to score. Scott Thompson had a lot of good saves there, and it looked as though it was going to be one of these days where we weren't going to get the goal, and then in the latter stages of the game we managed to get the two, but I was fairly relieved when I saw them get in.
It didn't appear though to be a bad Rangers performance. Was it a case of credit due to Raith Rovers?
Well, in 3 games that we played them this year, they've never shown that they were in a position that they find themselves in at the present moment at the bottom of the league. They've shown that they're far better than that. I can only go with the Rangers games. I don't see them very often after that, and they've certainly shown that they can play, and they play the game in a proper manner. They like to go forward and they try and put you under a bit of pressure, and it's very strange that they find themselves in that position, just judging by the performances against Rangers.
Jimmy, was that one especially hard to bear?
No, we got what they deserved in the end. I mean, we deserved to be 1-0 up. Might have been 2-0 up with a chance, I think, in the first minute it was. And then Stevie Cropper scored a good goal. Sustained a wee bit of pressure from Rangers down at the top end then, you know, where balls clear off a line with defending for our lives, great. But still, they had a great opportunity at half-time. They're 1-0 up against Rangers. You've still got a great opportunity of getting something out of this game. And unfortunately, we blew it in the end. So at the end of the day, we deserved entirely what we got, which was nothing.
Do you feel it really was thrown away? Can
Yeah.
you survive the first 15 minutes of the second half? It must have been very important to you.
No, it doesn't account for anything. You know, we keep on saying to them in half-time, you can only lose this yourselves. Just concentrate at the back, no nonsense at the back, get yourselves organised in the middle, and still go and take a king to Rangers and expect the worst of the second half. They're going to throw everything at you, so just do your job and defend properly at the back, and you'll get something out of the game. Unfortunately, we didn't.
At the end of the day, would you consider that?
Raith player manager Jimmy Nicholl was headed into the net by Ali Graham. The Starks Park boss was instrumental in setting up his side's second goal. Nicholl's cross not caught by Crawford but falling for Colin Cameron, who made no mistake. 2-0 up and cruising, but Killie had other ideas. 6 minutes after the break, Mitchell crossed and Sean McSkimming headed Kilmarnock back into the game. 3 minutes later, Tommy Burns' men were on level terms. Tom Black's cross, Ali Mitchell's header. But Raith weren't to be denied. With 15 minutes remaining, Cameron was upended by Millen in the box, and Rovers had a penalty. Peter Heatherston successfully converted to keep Raith's Premier survival hopes alive and pull Killie closer to the danger zone.
The weather has claimed a victory.
Raith have benefited from having Peter Heatherston back in the side. He created the game's first chance, breaking down the right and going past Graham Hogg before crossing for Steve Crawford. The striker didn't connect too well, but Jim Weir still had to make a clearance. But it was Hearts who took the lead with a well-worked goal in 19 minutes. McKinley and Miller played a 1-2 which just came off, then the fullback set up John Cahoon to score. A good finish from him. Raith set about getting back on terms, John McStay forcing a save out of Henry Smith after making space for a shot. McStay was to have better luck next time. Jason Dare's corner was headed down by Dennis. Cameron's overhead kick was saved, but McStay blasted home the rebound. Tosh McKinley was causing problems for Raith. He broke down the left. Miller met his cross. Foster headed goalwards, and Scott Thompson made an important save. A good competitive contest continued in the second half, with McStay setting up Dare. Jim Weir made a timely interception, then inadvertently got in the way as Ali Graham followed up. Raith took the lead in 57 minutes, Jason Robotham picking out Graham with his cross, the knockdown falling perfectly for Colin Cameron to make it 2-1. And Raith looked to be heading for their second win in a week, but it wasn't to be as Craig Levine nodded home John Robertson's free kick to snatch a point for Hearts.
Any team I fell behind, any teams we've always kept playing the way Jimmy's taught the team to play this season. We've got a few results, and the character he showed after dropping one behind against Hearts, because it's hard when you're at home. Relegation battle, the crowd get a wee bit uptight in that, but the boys showed great character to come back and take a 2-1 lead. And when you get that lead, you're expecting to hold on to it, and that's why it was so disappointing we never.
I think Raith Rovers...
Simon Donnelly served notice of what was to come with an early attempt on goal blocked by Ronnie Coyle. A few minutes later, though, he opened the scoring. Paul Byrne, the provider, and Donnelly doing the necessary with some panache. Raith Rovers are nothing if not game, though, and Crawford's equaliser ensured the sides went in level at half-time. Celtic's winner came with half an hour left to play. Paul McStay's cross perfect, nodded on by Falconer, and Donnelly giving the majority of the 14,000 crowd plenty to enthuse about on the way home. Down at Leicester.
New Raith Rovers signing Danny Lennon was pitched in for his debut in this relegation battle for him to find out how tough it can be at the bottom of the league. There were 13 minutes on the clock when Morten Weghorst sent in a cross which Jerry Britton headed down for George Shaw to score to give Dundee the lead. A good finish by Shaw. Shaw threatened the Raith Rovers goal again a couple of minutes later, beating two men before sending a shot which went over the top. But clearly the ex-Partick Thistle man was in the mood. Dundee keeper Michel Pagot was called into action after 25 minutes, saving Steve Crawford's shot in the turn at the expense of a corner. But Crawford did get his name on the score sheet. Rovers' equaliser coming after Jimmy Nicholl flighted a ball into the box. Noel Blake headed across his own area. Heatherston's shot came back off the bar and Crawford slammed in the rebound. Dundee had the better chances to win this match. Kevin Bain's cross falling invitingly for Britain, but he headed over. Then Neil Duffy had a great chance, working his way towards goal and beating Scott Thompson with his shot, but it slid past. That man George Shaw had an even better chance to win the match, latching onto McQuillan's through ball, but Thompson got his angles right. and this one finished 1-1. Kilmarnock, with home advantage, started the match firm favourites against the Fifers, who were staring relegation in the face. And the home side were on top in the early stages. This fine run from George McCluskey, but the cross cut out by Cameron. And then a moment that could have changed the whole game. Tom Black's run and cross falling for McCluskey, and he knows he should have done better here. Rovers' first chance came after 15 minutes. Ali Graham putting Jason Dare in the clear, but the finish was weak. Rovers then won a corner. Short from Heatherstone to Danny Lennon. He spotted John McStay unmarked, but the header flashed just by the post. Right on half-time, the visitors came this close to taking the lead. Geddes saving from Heatherstone. Killie were back on the prowl after the interval, but McCluskey's header was off target. Sean McSkimming then pushed forward and found space, playing it wide to the overlapping fullback Tom Black, who launched this screamer. And it came off the woodwork. A great strike by him. And just when you expected Killie to dominate, Raith had other ideas. And a succession of chances too. This from Jason Dare, tipped away by Geddes. Then Cameron's run into the box. It deserved better from Ali Graham, whose shot lacked power. Moments later, as the home defence claimed for offside, Dare nipped in, and he played the ball to the feet of Graham, but he dallied, and Montgomery cleared. Killie threw everything forward in the last 2 minutes when they had two great scoring chances, Thompson saving from substitute Williamson, and then Alan McInally's snapshot fumbled by Thompson, Riley's shot blocked by Coyle, and it finished a point apiece. So Rovers are relegated and Killie still third bottom.
Raith Rovers, already relegated, can do nothing to help their own cause, but they can still do some Premier damage. They certainly jolted Thistle's survival chances when, after less than 3 minutes, they gained a penalty. Greg Watson judged by referee Dallas to have used an arm to guide the ball to safety. The Thistle fans certainly didn't agree with Mr. Dallas's interpretation. Peter Heatherstone, though, stepping forward to take the kick and to give the Rovers the leads. The start did nothing to ease the Jags' nerves, and indeed Raith came close to increasing their lead when Danny Lennon fired just wide of the post. But the small band of Rovers fans didn't have long to wait for the second. Greg Watson and Craig Nelson colliding, going for the ball. Colin Cameron the simple task of putting it in the empty net. It was turning out to be one of those days for the jittery Jags. They did manage to claw their way back. Charnley's corner headed past Thompson by Isaac English. Thistle 1, Rovers 2, 34 minutes on the clock. A minute from the break, the home side had the chance of an equaliser. The ball eventually falling inside a crowded penalty area to Willie Jamieson, but his effort wide of the target. The tension among the Thistle players and fans grew as time ticked away, the scoreline remaining unchanged. Roddy Grant creating space for himself on the edge of the box, but his shot flew wide. Anxious moments for the Jags. A home defeat at this stage would have been Premier threatening, but they pushed forward again. Byrne finding Craig, and his shot taking a wicked deflection off Sean Dennis, finishing in the back of the net. The relief on the face of everyone obvious. But all credit to Raith Rovers. Having already been condemned to the First Division, they could have simply made up the numbers at Firhill, but they battled from start to finish and were worthy of the point. Take two teams who've done all they can in a competitive sense this season, and suddenly you find yourself with a decent game of football. There were just 2 minutes on the clock at Starks Park when the first goal came. Tommy Coyne finding Paul Lambert, and he put Motherwell ahead. The Rovers' equaliser came when a Motherwell attack broke down on the halfway line. Stephen McInespie picking out Jason Dare. He looked up and squared it, and Ali Graham scoring against his old club. 3 minutes later, Raith were ahead. Julian Broddle, the provider this time, His accurate cross headed home by Gordon Dale. There was nothing pretty about Motherwell's equaliser, but as they say, they all count. Steve Kirk popping up to toe poke the ball home to put the sides in level at half-time. The game swung Motherwell's way early in the second half. Kirk and Coyne combining to set up the chance, and Rob McKinnon nodding it home. 3-2 to Motherwell. It looked as though time was running out on Raith Rovers until an innocuous-looking foul was given just on the edge of the box in the last minute. After much deliberation, skipper Peter Heatherstone stepped forward and stroked the ball home to end it at 3-3.
Saints trialist Peter Davenport made an impressive start, his header forcing a fine save from Scott Thompson. At the other end, Colin Cameron carved his way through the Saints' defence, but his shot went wide. It was St Johnstone who broke the deadlock with a goal that had Raith boss Jimmy Nicholl raging. Ronnie Coyle seemed to have things under control, but a careless pass presented Davy Arns with a gilt-edged chance, and he gratefully accepted. It was a perfect way to celebrate his comeback after over a year out of football through injury. Raith Rovers equalised 9 minutes into the second half. Ali Graham laid the ball on to Colin Cameron, who volleyed it past Andy Rhodes from 20 yards. 1-1.
Of extra time and penalties before kick-off at McDermott Park, but in the event the outcome was clear-cut, but not in the home side's favour. Saints began in lively enough fashion. George O'Boyle did look in the mood, but 20 minutes into the tie, it was the Kirkcaldy side who took the lead. Jimmy Nicholl with the corner, and Colin Cameron whips the cross in for defender Sean Dennis to score. A jubilant Dennis, he was only included due to the injury of Dave Neary. 10 minutes later, Rovers edged further ahead. St Johnstone were on the attack, but the move would end up in a score at the other end. Nicholl controlling the midfield again, and the ubiquitous Cameron sends it right to Danny Lennon. Progress down the flank from him, and when the ball's sent in, it's deflected, and Cameron, again having made the run, sweeps it into the path of Ali Graham. His 5th goal of the season, the only one he hasn't scored with his head. Rovers 2 up within half an hour. Moments before the break, George O'Boyle passed up a great opportunity to put Saints back in the game. The flick on from Davenport, McInnesby's defensive error, and Scott Thompson comes to Rovers' rescue. But 5 minutes into the second period, Saints did find a way through. O'Boyle opening up the play, swinging it wide for Davenport on the left. And from Gary McGuinness's cross, ex-Dundee United man John O'Neill managed to pick his spot through Thompson's legs to make it 2-1. St Johnstone back in the quarter-final. A flowing second half saw the chances evenly spread. Raith Rovers' turn now. Nicholl running through midfield, he sends it wide for Crawford, and a powerful angled header from Cameron saved superbly by Andy Rhodes. No luck for the midfielder voted man of the match. At 21, he's the product of Raith's youth policy. He looks a terrific prospect. Paul Sturrock's side pushed for the equaliser. O'Boyle threads the ball through, and after it breaks for Peter Davenport, his first-time shot ricochets off the bar. The former Nottingham Forest and Manchester United striker desperately unlucky. But his side could consider themselves fortunate moments later. Crawford in the clear, and his cross waited perfectly for Ali Graham, who somehow contrives to fire his header wide, and you can tell how he felt about it. This belief from the Raith Rovers' travelling support, and St Johnstone still retained ambitions to level the score. They galloped upfield again, but must have realised it was Rovers' night when Kevin McGowan's effort hit the woodwork. And their suspicions were confirmed with 7 minutes left when Raith scored a marvellous breakaway goal. Danny Lennon mops up the St Johnstone attack and combines superbly with Cameron. St Johnstone defender Paul Cherry plays Lennon onside, and there were absolutely no doubts in his mind as he took on Rhodes to crisply kill off St Johnstone's cup hopes. Raith Rovers' travelling band of 2,000 fans celebrate their first semi-final spot since taking on Celtic 31 years ago in the Scottish Cup.
I've seen the support tonight and I think it means everything to them. I couldn't tell you the last time they were in a semi-final of a cup, and maybe, I don't know, 20, 25 years, and it means a lot to the town of Kirkcaldy and to the players in the dressing room especially, you know.
That goal must have meant a lot to you as well. First one with the foot, I gather, this season.
That's right, I got a bit of fright when I seen it kind of bouncing for me, but at the end of the day it went in the back of the net, and I thought at 2-0, I thought we were going to cruise to a victory, you know, but the second half proved otherwise.
So you've seen all 13 goals. Final. The other one has...
Raith Rovers don't flirt with the big time too often. It's 45 years since they reached the League Cup final. Still among the staff are players who have tasted glory. Remember the most famous toe poke of all time?
The manager's brought in David Neary at the back with a lot of good experience. He's no bad, he's about 44 now, and he's still one of the fittest lads I've seen. I think all he does is drink Lucasade and sleep, to be honest.
He's winding down in one goal in Spain a few years ago for a long time, isn't he?
Yes, well, on his show of shooting, I don't think it was him, to be quite honest with you, because he's never hit the target since he's came here.
What was it like in the dressing room over the summer when there seemed to be a prospect of Jimmy leaving the club and going to the Ulster job?
Well, there was a lot of talk about the unrest with the Northern Ireland and the Kilmarnock's jobs and things like that, but the boys just knuckled down, got on, we'd done their pre-season, and once it was all sorted out, we got back to doing the business.
Of course, DL himself has a League Cup winners' medal with Rangers, 1981 the vintage. The younger players such as David Sinclair believe they can emulate that this year.
We've played our best football in the Cup this season and bring it into the league. We've never played well in the league this year, apart from... No, I couldn't even name you one game.
Is there a feeling in this play that if you can beat Airdrie, you can go on and win the cup?
Well, it's a cup final check. Wimbledon done it to Liverpool. I've been there before with Rangers, and you never take anything for granted in a cup final one-off.
Are you giving David Neary a bit of stick for being a veteran, but you've been around a bit yourself now?
No, I'm only 32. A lot of people have got that wrong. You know, I think it's just the grey hair and the baldness coming on.
James Nicholl Esquire has himself passed the way of League Cup glory with Rangers. But what price him orchestrating a Rovers return to Hampden for the first time since 1949?
Just try to read your lips there, Jimmy.
When Scott Thompson received his marching orders, it was 17-year-old Brian Potter's big chance. And it was a chance he grabbed with both hands in the dramatic penalty shootout.
And Potter has saved it! Raith Rovers are in the final, and 17-year-old Brian Potter has taken them there.
But this morning it was back down to earth as the young hero joined the rest of the club's YTS trainees studying for a qualification in leisure management. His teacher, former Dunfermline manager Jim Leishman, who's delighted to see the success of his young student.
I had the lads all week last week, and on Friday Brian was disappointed because he wasn't in the squad. Then Monday afternoon he's off because he's away with the first team boys preparing for the game. And then when I saw him coming on last night, Roy the Rovers, it's a new book that Brian's writing just now.
For Brian Potter, last night's events are yet to sink in.
They're the only things you dream about, like saving penalties, getting through to cup finals and that. I wasn't even thinking about going on because I've been on the bench for a year and I've never had a chance of going on. The biggest game I've had probably for years, you just threw on right away.
It's the sort of stuff you read about in comics, isn't it?
It is, aye.
When are you going to stop smiling?
I don't know, next week or so.
As the big story began to take shape in the newsroom of the Five Free Press, Raith fans were basking in their success.
It was a two-pair underpants joke, apart from that we enjoyed it.
You got in the final?
Oh yes, definitely.
In 1949, the match report on Raith's last visit to Hampden highlighted the play of young left half Andy Lee. Today he's semi-retired from his job as groundsman at Starks Park. He remembers how he was picked for the big game on the Saturday morning after a call-off.
When the word come through that Ernie had cried off, and the manager, Mr. Esmond, said, "You're playing today, Andy." My dad had to take me and walk me along Argyle Street, you know, and out to Quaighton to settle me down. I was a bag of nerves.
That experience, though, will give you some understanding of some of the excitement that the lads are feeling today, having got through this year's final.
Oh, they'll be over the moon. I'm nothing sure on that. And it's a 50-50 chance. Doesn't matter who you're playing. to get to the final, you know, it's only 90 minutes.
Raith now have only a few hours to wait before they discover who they'll play in that vital 90 minutes. Neil Moody reporting Scotland.
Diarmid Park last night was clearly too much for Raith Rovers manager Jimmy Nicholl, who was to be with us tonight, but has gone down with flu. Gordon Dalziel is a more than adequate substitute, and we'll hear his thoughts, as well as those of Derek Johnston, after a brief reminder of last night's drama.
Lennon picks up the loose ball in midfield. Cameron now moving over to the left, bringing Sanderson with him this time. Neary striding forward. On the end of this, a chance for David Neary. Surviving a appeal for handball there. He's still in the thick of it all. And the chance is taken. Brilliantly in the end. Ali Graham makes it 1-0 to Raith Rovers. But the credit goes to David Neary for his intrusion into the midfield, into the attack there. Some very determined work again by Neary. Then out, Gordon Dalziel set it all up for Ali Graham, and that's a deadly finish. This is Boyle. Trying to exploit the pace of Lawrence. Oh, great judgment shown now. Well, now the linesman has flagged that was outside the box. Thompson can't believe it. Now he's got to be in trouble for that. It's deliberate handball, and it is a red card. Now that is a very accurate interpretation of the rules, and what a moment this is for 17-year-old Brian Potter. Taking off Davy Kirkwood. This is Sanderson. He can now spring from the back. Raith Rovers a man short. Airdrie must make the passes count. Cooper. He's made it! Well, the cup is brought to life again. Steve Cooper drilling that right in at the post. He has to score, it's as simple as that. And Potter has saved it! Raith Rovers are in the final, and 17-year-old Brian Potter has taken them there.
Yes, incredible scenes of jubilation. Raith Rovers now just 90 minutes away from getting their hands on this famous Holt trophy. Well, Gordon, what was it like?
Absolutely fantastic. It was nice to see the penalty kick because I was in the tunnel, I couldn't watch. The nerves had gone by then.
Really?
Yep, and the young lad done fantastic there. Deserves every bit of praise he gets. He was sitting in the dressing room last night drinking champagne. Tonight he's up at Cowdenbeath. He's a reserve goalkeeper.
Sublime to the ridiculous, eh? How do you feel the game had gone though? Because obviously it started well for you, and then losing Scott Thompson clearly could have been a big turning point.
Yeah, up until that point, Dougie, I didn't think we looked in any danger at all. And then we lost Scott through the ball outside the area incident. And the young boy come on, he lost a goal. After that, he settled down, he handled it very, very well and became the hero at the end of the night.
Yeah, I tell you what, the next few weeks must be terrific because you've got the game to look forward to, but I would imagine the whole town now is going to be talking of nothing else.
Well, I was on for treatment this morning, they're still partying Kirkcaldy, so it's got to be fantastic right up to the final.
Great, well done again, Gordon. So do I.
We had to wait nearly half an hour for the first piece of real action in this game, but some good skill from Aki's John McQuaid, rounding three players before Scott Thompson blocks the shot. In 62 minutes, Aki's went down to 10 men. Fullback Stephen McAnulty, just back from a week's trial with Luton, going in with this tackle on Colin Cameron. He was red-carded by referee Dallas. And this proved to be the turning point. Rovers' first goal coming from the corner from Broadell, Ali Graham's header, Gordon Dalziel claiming it, a glancing header to make it 1-0. 4 minutes later, substitute Jason Dare sets up the second. Stevie Crawford, who gave keeper Cormac no chance, the Rovers now 2 up. Aki's should have pulled one back from keeper Cormac's long clearance, which beat everyone, including keeper Thompson. Peter Duffield there denied by the post. Raith went right up the park then, and Barry Wilson's cross was headed home by Stephen Crawford. A comfortable win for the Fifers.
And victory for Raith lifts them.
The 3 goals for the Fifers' top scorer all came within the first hour in the 4-2 victory over Stranraer. The first and second goals courtesy of set pieces, giving him 2 fairly easy tap-ins. The third came in 57 minutes from the penalty spot, before DL, who's currently the Rovers skipper, was substituted, but not before he'd staked a cup final place.
And this was the last chance for the Raith Rovers players to stake their claims for a Coca-Cola Cup final place against Celtic next week. They were all keen to impress, and when Terry Butcher hesitated in the 7th minute, Colin Cameron was quick to take advantage, squaring for DL to tuck away his 8th league goal of the season. The Bankies came within an inch of equalising soon after. Walker's corner was missed by keeper Thompson, and Sean Dennis had to clear off the line. On the stroke of half-time, Colin Cameron had the Clydebank defence in turmoil again. A powerful run down the left, a neat 1-2 with substitute Jason Dare, and then a shot which deflected off Colin Harris onto the post and behind for a corner. 1-0 at the break. The Bankies were desperate to claw their way back into this game. 5 minutes after the restart, Gary Bowman cut inside and forced a good save from Scott Thompson. But that acted like a red rag to a bull. Within a minute, Cameron collected a misplaced Butcher pass. He played it wide to DL, and his cross was put away by Ali Graham to make it 2-0 Raith. Goal number 3 followed 3 minutes later, and it was a collector's item. Rowbotham's cross was headed out, but it fell for Dave Neary, and the veteran defender drilled it past Matthews. A rare goal, and one which will no doubt create a new trivia question: what do the Bankies and Brazil have in common? There was no way back for Clydebank now, but they didn't give up. Determined play by Bowman set up Jim Grady on the left. He cut inside, and he fired in a dipping shot, which Thompson saved low at his right post. Raith launched the final assault, and it should serve as a warning to Celtic. Some great interplay between DL and Cameron, and it ended with DL's shot being saved, but Raith certainly looked ready for the final.
Well, we know it's going to be a difficult game. We're playing Celtic, it's a cup final. Our feet's firmly on.
But Raith Rovers' appearance in the final has brought a ray of sunshine into the lives of the good people of Kirkcaldy. It's 45 years since anyone here celebrated a cup final appearance, and business is booming for anyone selling anything with the Rovers hallmark.
They'll be dancing in the streets of Raith. That was the legendary of geographically unsound forecast of one English broadcaster after a particularly good Rovers result a few years ago. Well, nevertheless, here in the streets of Kirkcaldy, they hope they'll be dancing tomorrow night.
It was good for me because it gave me a wee bit of a shot in the first team, but just had to wait and see.
How did it change your life?
For a couple of days I was getting a wee bit of publicity and that, but didn't really let it get to me anyway, because it was a great moment for me, but more credit goes to the team anyway, so that was good.
Did the gaffer make sure your feet were firmly planted in the ground after it?
We were on the ground anyway, but everybody just made sure. It didn't make any difference to me.
You still relive the moment? Have you got the video?
I've got the video, I watch it every night.
Of course, Sunday is as much about Raith's past as it is about their future. 5 of the 1949 League Cup final team who lost 2-0 to Rangers were introduced this week to top scorer Gordon DL. And the legends of yesteryear reminded today's stars of the big money on offer nearly half a century ago.
£20 a bonus. But I was a union delegate, so I seen Mr. Herdsman, the manager, and he was a hard guy to deal with, but I got the boys £20 dinner. See, I was the youngest in the team. I had more sense in them, you know.
But £20 was a lot of money then.
That's right.
Oh, that's right. And of course, you all would roll up to training here at Starks Park in your cars, your limousines.
One or two had cars.
Well, we were part-time.
One or two, but they were hired, you know.
Would you like to have played in this era, Jock? Would you like to be playing now?
I think so. Aye.
You'd be making a lot of money, would you not?
You swerve the ball. I've seen that Collins. He's great at them.
Do you think you could have done that if you'd been playing now?
Aye, I do.
He would have done it.
How do you think your team of the 40s and 50s would have played against the current side of one?
Well, quite flat, I don't think we would have played it because it's changed altogether. When you take the foul now, how it's going on now, we played 5-3-2 football. And now it's just a kick up the park, kick down the park, and running after it, which like a chicken with a head.
It'd be very nice for the area and Kirkcaldy and all the old supporters.
Are you all going to the game?
No, I'm not going to the game, no.
Why not?
Well, I'll just watch the television.
It will be a televisual feast for Big Harry and his pals, because the cold fact of life is that Raith Rovers are just 90 minutes away from a place in Europe.
They're Celtic. They're one of the top teams in Scotland. They're a very good side, and by right they're clear favourites. But we'll go there and hopefully give a good account of ourselves.
But you're scoring goals and they're not.
Well, we're playing the First Division, they're playing the Premier League check. It's a different ball game. They've got a lot of good forwards up front, and it just needs one wee break for them, and you could go and score a right few.
Has the manager issued instructions to everyone here to just play all this down and don't say anything that would make you think you're going to go into this game and win it easily?
What gives you an idea, Chuck?
Celtic, I suppose, in many ways are like a wounded animal at the moment, and they've not seen silverware for quite a few years, and